Hello and welcome to our next Catena Cast. I'm Claire Bicknell, owner of the Catena Network, and we're here back at Holme Pierrepont Hall, and I'm actually in the ballroom. I'm just about to chat with Robert Brackenbury, whose family home this is, to find out how the last season has been for him. Summer is obviously a very busy time for a business such as Holme Pierrepont Hall, and let's go and have a chat with him and find out how it's been. So Robert, thank you for letting us come back to see you. Last time you were here it was spring, now we're halfway through summer. How's summer been for you?
As we always want it to be, it's been very busy. We had very successful Shakespeare because the weather was on side, and it was one of those evenings where it wasn't too hot, so everyone was able to enjoy the theatre in the East Garden. And we've had lots of weddings and a number of business events, and we often have people going around the house. There'll be groups and I'll take them round. So a mixture of everything, and it's all been go.
Brilliant. Last time we were here, we finished up looking at your lambs.
Yeah.
How are they?
The lambs are doing well. We've been very lucky. We've had all this dry weather this summer, and because we've had grassland here for quite a long time and it hasn't been ploughed in or anything, it's got a good solid bed to it. So when there has been a bit of rain, the roots have come through, and we haven't had to resort to winter feed, which I know a lot of farmers have had to do.
Thinking that, yes, there's been a lot in the news about that,
Yeah.
about how some farmers have suffered, but your lambs are fine and
Yeah,
fine.
and all our ewes are, and because we're in a 30-acre sort of plot here, we could move them from one section to another, and it's enabled them to survive without.
So they're
problem.
pampered lambs, really?
Yeah, probably too pampered. They've got sheds to go in and keep them all happy.
Excellent. So the other thing that we did touch on when we were here before was your Heritage Lottery funding, and you mentioned the wall around the estate, and I think I saw something in social media that the work has now started on that. How is that going?
Yeah, the work has started, and it's finished on the courtyard garden wall, and it's quite obvious now because you can see where David has put in 5 new sort of castellations, and in doing the wall we discovered a 17th century staircase leading from the courtyard garden into the churchyard, and we also discovered a number of windows. Due to the nature of the work, we cannot keep them on view because the wall is how it is and has to be restored, but we have photographed and recorded all those things that we found. Because along that side of the house in the 17th century there was a range of buildings, and so those rooms would have led into the churchyard, and so we've discovered more about the building itself, and we've also discovered as infill 16th century bricks, which is quite useful because we have a problem with masonry bees attacking the brickwork here, so we now have a few spare bricks.
Fantastic.
And one of the bricks I found, which I've kept, it was nearly thrown away by Charlotte because she's so tidy, but she then I got it back again, thank goodness. It shows the fingerprints of the person who took it out of the kiln, so I've kept it to show when people go around the house, and they can see this brick and see that they were actually handmade. And now we're also working out there. There's a wall that you see through the plants that is the 1628 garden wall, and we're doing a section of that, and that's being done at the moment. And it's restoring the mullion tops and and just pointing the brickwork, because that wall itself is Grade 2 star listed, so it's quite an important feature of the house. So it's all coming along. So this is the oldest brickwork in Nottinghamshire. It's a building that dates back to 1500, and it's difficult to believe when you're here as you look out on the parkland and the farming fields beyond, that we're actually about 5 minutes from the cricket ground. And so it does have that rural feel, yet we're very close to the city of Nottingham, and all you need do is look on the internet at all these maps that are available and you'll see how close we are. And I think one of our unique selling points is the garden, and we're in a grade 2 listed courtyard garden at the moment, and we have our east garden, and people are able to use the gardens for the events that they use here, especially in the summer, and we're very proud and like to keep them looking as good as we can, and so they're a very important feature. And I think the other thing about this place is people take it on an exclusive use basis, so whoever's coming, be it a wedding, a corporate event, director's dinner, we've also had we've had all sorts of different events. We've had Christmas parties and things like that. It all lends itself because the rooms have got the space, and they can be used in different ways. Today, for example, we've got a wedding going on today. You will see them, they're setting up flowers on the stairs, and we're talking midsummer, so they're going to be able to use the facilities really to the full. When people arrive, we've got a civil ceremony going on in the long gallery, and then when they finish that, they'll be able to come downstairs, they'll be able to enjoy the courtyard garden, and then when they've had enough of the courtyard garden, they can go into the east garden. And if it does rain, we've got the facilities to cope with everybody inside the house, and they can have a drinks reception inside the house, and then when they're ready to go upstairs again, the tables will be set for the wedding breakfast. But from a wedding venue, you've got exclusive use, and because we're very much involved, you feel as though you're part of the family in a sense, because this is a private house. I keep signage to a minimum. Of course, I've got my fire exit signs, but we don't try and completely put signs everywhere, because we want to make it feel as though they're coming into somebody's house and they're using it and they're enjoying it, and so when they leave, they've had an experience they'll hopefully have not had for a very long time.
So people can, I've had a number of people within Catena, and of course other people are able to access this opportunity of just getting in touch with you to see if they can organise a tour to come round and look at that house.
And from February next year we start our house opening. There is method to this madness of doing it from February, March and April, in that not everywhere else is open, so you've got a captive market. And the snowdrops will be looking good, as will the tulip, our wild tulip in April. But they'll be able to see the work that's been done, and we're continuing forward with doing things here. And you know, the way things have moved on in the last year has been pretty incredible, with our ticketing and actually actively getting more work into the house. Charlotte and I, between us, have never been working so hard as we have been now to move the house forward and really give it some
excellent
credibility.
That is excellent news. So on that basis, can I come back and invite ourselves to come and film for next season, which will be autumn? And just looking at the trees that you have around here and the fabulous hot summer that we've had, I think that the fall will be an absolutely beautiful vision.
I think you see every season has an impact here, and we are very keen that people do see the house. This is a very important building, and it has to be got through to a lot of people, because this was the start of the country house, and if people don't see it, it will be a real shame, and we don't want that to happen. We want to continue.
Part of Nottinghamshire's heritage.
It's part of Nottinghamshire's heritage, and it's really important that continues, because if it doesn't, and a Russian oligarch moves in, it'll be closed for everybody, and we don't want that to happen.
Absolutely. No. Thank you so much for your time.
Well,
It's
nice
really
to
good
see
to
you.
see you again. Thank
Cheers.
you.